daylight to all. It feels nice to feel the breeze between your toes. Early morning. I want to praise God. But what is praise? It simply means giving thanks, giving acknowledgement, considering Him. I'm so thankful for having a relationship with Him. I'm thankful that He came into my life and made Himself known. I can't explain it in words. My whole existence, my being depends on it. To be in a world without God, to be living without a father, a real man, yeah. To know what that feels like. I'm thankful. He has done and has shown me His presence. That no words can really tell a person. I can try to tell you my life, but He has shown me. He has shown me the way He said He would. I'm just thankful. So very thankful. To be in a generation where I'll see the Son of God, I'll see Jesus come back. Thankful that I know that. Not that I just believe it, but that I've been given signs. And when I reflect my whole life has been designed for this very moment, what I call a revelation. The understanding of God, the confidence in knowing that you have an intimate relationship, who you are. My whole life has been strategically designed and purposed for me. Because that's what it's all about, right? What are we really here for? What are we having to figure out? What do we seek? Seeking such a God, such a man, such a father, such a healer, such love. I'm just so thankful because I have come to see through the darkness that it has not poisoned me. It has not darkened my eyes. No, I'm thankful for all of it because I rise. I am here. I am here. As I say on the mountain, I'm here. I've made it through. All that has been, all that was, is no more. All that was, and there was a lot. There were many. Ugh. It wasn't that long ago for me. The time keeps going. But I'm thankful for all of it. I'm thankful for him getting me here, helping me. However he did it. Tough love, discipline. Ugh. Yeah, someone like me needs those things. Because I'll always be free. I'll always need discipline. I'll always need him to keep me somehow. Now, if I can be free in a field of wonder and wonderful things, then that's another thing. But in a world of danger, poison, predatory things, and people, yeah, he would have to. I would hope in him to. Because do I truly change? No matter where I go in the world? No. And I can attest to that because they've tried to change me. So it stands to be true that you can't change unless it's God changing you, right? Unless it's the purpose, aligning with your purpose, evolving. If it's to break you down in spirit, it will. Temporary things, but it doesn't change who you are when you come into the world. You are already a soul, a spirit, with a force to be reckoned with, a force of made up of personality, as we call it, made up of your essence. That's what it is. A ball of fire, a little butter ball. That's what you are. And so when you come into the world, you already are, who you're supposed to be. You're perfect. And then the world can try and attempt, as it is programmed to. And we can attest to that because we have lived here to see, why do they do these things? Why are they trying to change me? Listen, we've been here for a while. We understand their ways. So that's the maturity living here that we receive, the understanding of their ways. So we can attest to that it will try and succeed. But someone pulls you out, helps you up. You can choose to keep getting up, choosing to stand and hold on to whatever you have left. Last bit of hope. Memories that keep you knowing who you are, even though it's not what you see currently or in that moment in time. Because as it has appeared to be temporary, I can attest to that. Because it has all become temporary. The phases, the versions, the different, the way people here call it or say it, you had to wear different hats, different versions, all in one timeline. As you have to be accordingly, or as it has been done, right? And that's the thing, when you have your essence never leaves. So even though I had to be tougher than I usually am, or quieter than I usually would be for a long period of time, right? Going through that phase, whatever it could have been, crushed in the spirit, sadness, filled with sorrow, emotional, uncontrollable. Those things I've taken on, those things may have attached to me. But when those things were taken off, say the muzzle was taken off, so now I can begin speaking again. When things were lifted off of me, the bondage of fear, now I don't worry naturally. I can think and overthink, but fear does not come upon me without my will. Like, even with my will, I wouldn't want fear to come upon me. But again, I know fear, the entity of it, the bondage of it, the existence of it, it's spiritual. So that's lifted off of me, where again I can be more of what I've always been, who I've always been. Why? See, here's the thing. Why are these things put upon you? Why? That's the question that you need to be asking yourself so that you can start to understand everything, and then also what I'm saying, which is everything. Remember, we're speaking about essence. You come into this world already who you're supposed to be in Christ and God and in you. But there's a time where you go through these phases, you go through these versions, tribulations, and things are put upon you. We call it tribulation, trials, because if we did not have those things, we wouldn't know what perseverance, conquering through meant or felt like. So at this stage and in this version, in His will at that time, part of the purpose, with who you are, with such essence, now a muzzle is put upon you, and now you're muted. Spiritually, something is covering your mouth. Physically, you're just distraught. You just feel maybe you're depressed, like you just can't snap out of it. You wake up and you don't understand. But if you think deeply, you can try to make sense of it. As in, well, I've been in isolation for a long time with no one to speak to and no one to speak to me at this time, as a child, as a teenager, because it was the beginning. So it was gonna throw trauma to you. It was a devastating blow to the spirit, because that was what it was designed to do. Wound you, weaken you, lower your energy, lower your vibration, lower your light, lower your essence deep inside you. So all of a sudden, you instantly realize, I'm back to me. What version? Well, the version that I know I've always been. Because I've always been who I was when I came into this world. And when I came into this world, I'm a threat. I'm hated. For some reason, there's the question again. Why do they treat me like this? Why do they seem to hate me? We don't understand at this time because we're young. It's the beginning. We have no understanding. We can't fully see. But I know. Meaning I know something's not right. I know I didn't actually do anything bad. And I know that when I stand up for myself, they don't like it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear me out. And they use this way of understanding. If it's my house, it's my rules. It doesn't matter if you're right or you're wrong. They use this understanding like, if you're small, I don't have to answer to you. If you're younger, if you speak up, you're talking back, and that's just disrespectful. And you understood what they meant because you seen that what they were saying was true. You seen it. You seen that they were older and that it was their house and that it was their rules. It was true. But you knew deep down something wasn't right. That wasn't fear though. But they don't want to hear you. So you're frustrated because you're misunderstood, because you're labeled as bad or disrespectful or any of those things when you're not actually those things, but because you're rebellious toward their ways, because you are not conforming to their rules. They're rightfully so rules because you're in whose house? You're in their house. Did you feel that in the spirit? I hear Father saying, whose house were you in? Then I hear him say, did I not send you into the world? Or are you still in my house? Are you home with me in your room? Or did I send you into the world, in the family I put you in their house? So again, I seen that their ways are true. Judging things from the surface makes it true, and that's their one up on you. That they have all this power and dominion because they know that that's what people only believe, most people, that what you see is what you know. That I'm only going to believe what I see because that's all I know. If you don't know anything beyond the eyes, beyond what is beneath, then you don't know and you don't speak. Understanding. But I've only grappled this understanding by, going through the motions. But in the beginning, I knew the basic. When they say you're wrong, I'm right, you're young, you're little, I'm big type thing, type vibe. One thing stands tall, and that's, why don't you hear me out? Why don't you want to listen to my plea or my defense? Why just take this person's side? Oh, because they show partiality. Oh, because this is their daughter, this is their son, and I'm not one of them, right? I'm not their child. So the messages were there in my face. They were always there, like fully in plain sight. But since I never had the Bible verses, I just knew. I just knew inside. It was just a knowing, but I couldn't confirm it because confirming it only almost means I need a witness. I need someone to say that I'm not crazy or I'm not bad, because I can say that all day. I'm not crazy. I'm not bad. I'm not disrespectful. I'm not. I can say that. And I can believe that, but then when you don't have a witness, it just eats at you, because it's like, but I am getting punished. And that I did talk back, not disrespectfully or not purposely to be right, but because it felt right, you know, the simplest things, just the simplest things, because what more are you speaking up for when you're young, right? I'm an adult now, but this started in the beginning, so it could be the simplest things. Why do they get to, why do you get to go downstairs and I don't? you know Now with me, where I was living, I never had to actually talk back to my elder, meaning my guardian. No, which was nice, because then they don't have that against you. I was always very respectful. But if it was just someone that was a few years older than me, like your cousins and your siblings or something, yeah, of course. Because if you're downstairs watching TV, going in the fridge, making food, and I'm maybe, okay, 2-3 years younger, still, why? I could argue with you all day, because I will, because you're not like my guardian, you're not an elder. And then you're also like, again, we're all kids in this house, so if you're telling me that I can't go downstairs, you think I'm going to listen to you? So here's the thing. They report back to who? To their father, to their mother. This is just a guardian of mine. This could be just a cousin, a family member that taken me in, but this is their parents. This is their house, and I'm living in it. But is it truly my home? No. And this is just this is personal thing. Like, this is physically. This has nothing to do with biblical verses right now. This is actually true. But with now knowing the Bible, it aligns, right? So it could have been the simplest things. I'm going to go downstairs and watch TV too. Or I'll go downstairs and go in the fridge. But there's rules. So they report back to their parents, and their parents tell them to tell me to go in the room. Most of the time I was already punished, so of course that wouldn't have to really happen often unless I was caught, going downstairs, and they would just say, I'm telling my mom because you're on punishment. But those little incidences was enough for them to be able to keep me excluded. You understand? And that just meant excluded from all activities, any holidays, birthday parties, my own birthday, all of those things, every season. It given them a reason. So I'm in this room as a child, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I know deep down that I'm not bad, but I am, but I'm not, but I am, but I'm not. It was kind of conflicting, not in a way where I truly knew I was bad, but that the truth is that that's what people, I'm not going to say that they really thought of me as bad, but that is the way that they were treating me. So it would be easy for someone from the outside looking in to look at me and say, oh, she must be a bad child. When really, I was none of those things. But I had to lay with that. I had to grow, right? Maneuver through that fire, that valley, that darkness. I had to just see from through my eyes. You see that? I had to see through my eyes what I'm witnessing. And I'm just thinking it's just me, right? Because again, I don't know biblical verses, but I know that I'm having no choice but to see this happening, not just around me, but to me. That I mean, this is where it comes from, like thinking that everyone is similar to me. And I still sort of think that, but I am coming from out of that because it makes so much sense why people don't, or people didn't speak up, or people didn't side with me, or yeah. It gives me no choice but to see that these people have taken their allegiance, and with who, you see, based off actions that I had no choice but to see. If I'm in constant isolation, well, they called it punishment back then. You understand? She's always on punishment. Yeah, so it was punishment back then because, again, we don't know verses yet, but we know that we go through our punishment when we're in this world. We're not exalted. But again, I need to see, it's hard for me because it's so easy for me to pull from the verses now and like give gratitude toward it or context it, you see. And so, but I don't want to go too far into that to where I forget. But I can't help but acknowledge that yes, I'm trying to depict this story as it is, not what it's become, right? I did not know anything biblically. Again, I'm starting from 10. It started before then, but I want to start from 10 all the way to 16, well 17. All I'm saying is, because I don't want my mind to flutter. Yeah, I did not know biblically, but I did know inside. And it's easy to know because you're being portrayed, or you're becoming this version that you would have never expected, not even expected, but that you never knew existed. Because I am such a talkative person, like, not to toot my horn, because I'm very humble, but this is my story, so I have to say it, right? And it is hard for me to sometimes speak about me in like a direct way, because it's like cliche. It's like I don't have to tell anyone who I am. I shouldn't have to explain those things, but I know that I have to get over that if I'm telling my story. I have to get over that if this is my book, right? And this is all for the greater good. This is for a purpose, a bigger purpose. People need to hear these things. They definitely need to hear it from the source, because there could be many books and people and channels that talk about similar people, but I'm actually that type of person. So anyway, see, my mind goes all places because of all things. So I did not know it biblically. So that's just making it known that I'm trying to stick with just the original blueprint. But I also want to just keep hinting at, do you see, like, silently but loudly saying the verses are just the same thing now, right? Anyway, okay, I I knew deep down, and it was easy for me to know because, I mean, hello, when you have no choice but to become a black sheep, or the elephant in the room, or the one that's always punished, and people, you hear people whisper it because they can't, outside of the door, mind you, the door has to be closed and I have to be laid down. Like, this is just, if I, if I'm, that was the preference. Like, I want her laying down and I want this door closed and I want no one in the room. This daylight, evening, night. I go to school, come back home. That's the thing. Like I've said before, report cards didn't make it better. Of course not, because I wasn't studying. But also, no one was, open to helping or any of those things. So we get the picture, right? And it was just easy. It was easy, and I had to see it. I had to see myself. I had to see them. I had to see them. I said them, right? There's a mother, sister, there's a father, there's a son, there's a whole unit, there's a family, there's people. I had to see all of it. And personally, it doesn't bother me, because people can choose whatever they want to do. But it is just the truth. And I think it doesn't bother me because I know that it needed to happen that way. It was supposed to happen that way. It's not like, oh, why didn't you say something, or why? I've never felt that way, like, deeply. Because I feel like if I did, I would have said something right then and there. Like, why are you not saying anything? I might have mentioned it, if, I'm sure, all the time, from all the times that I was just constantly in this punishment, this isolation. I'm sure there was times where, yeah, I'm like, why am I getting in trouble for this? Like, in my mind. And then I'll probably ask one of my cousins, did I do something actually bad? And I remember one time this cousin shared with me, she said, yeah, sort of, because you're small and you're talking back. So, like I was saying before, I knew that they had that up on me. Like, every time that I wanted to defend myself, even if it was true, it was just, I would always be wrong. Because it's what they said. Like, if I said to clean this bathroom, that's what I'm saying, and that's what I mean. But if I say, well, I cleaned it yesterday, or let's say so and so just took a bath and they dirtied it, so why can't they clean it? The rule is, well, the guys typically are not cleaning the bath. They're the ones taking the trash. But to me, naturally, because again, I'm young, I'm a baby, I'm 10, I'm young, to where, why am I like that? Why do I question those things? Why don't I just listen? Why do I see it this way? Like, why do I see it unfair? How do I know that it's unfair? When everyone in this room, everyone in this house is just quiet about it. I can't answer that. You know, because if I do, I'd say, oh, it's because of me. It's because of God. It's because who I am. That's the whole thing. My essence. I was already who I was, right? No one taught me to just say, you know, speak fairly of myself. Like, oh, you make sure you stand up for. Like, no one had to tell me that. And I don't think I know, but humbly speaking, I feel that that's what I feel amazes a person, or delights, you know, makes a person look at you and delight. Because I could see that if I was around someone young and they were you know, showing those signs of like exactly what you're supposed to be in a world. But it would just be delighted to see, because it's in them. It's just already in them. So you already know what they're going to be when they grow up. Like, this is going to be someone that is going to rock the boat, you know, and you're either going to hate them or you're going to love them. So already, I can already see a person like that and know exactly who they are. So why would I think that? Well, I can't say that because I'm skipping ahead. But why would I think that why would anyone think that they couldn't see me? But I think what it is that I didn't know that they see me. Right? I didn't know that they see me in that way. I only say these things now because I know these things now. But again, as a kid, you're not thinking, you don't know the world. You just know what you know. And it's in the house. It's starting in your home, like the home that you're in. So if anyone's seeing me or seeing something in me that I can now see as an adult in someone young, and how people can view that and take that, okay. But I did not know. And that's the amazement. The kid does not know that. She's just being. And yeah, it sucked. Because you felt misunderstood because no one's telling you that it's okay. That it's not even that it's okay, but like no one's just there for you. So you're becoming misunderstood because you know yourself, but from other people's views, they're trying to make you some other version, whether it was intentional or whether they just couldn't see, because all they see is, because they didn't know, because all they see is the surface, the rules, the house rules, you know, their master, their guardian, that adult's authority. That's all they see. And they follow that. But I had to sit with it. I had to lay, not sit, lay. And how do you think that would, what you think, you know, I don't even know all the things. What could it do to the spirit? See, it's easy for me to know now, but when I reflect on it, I understand. That's where I've gotten understanding, because now I see why my spirit, I see why I become muted. I see why I was in myself different. But in the time, I did not know. I just woke up. Because you don't know until you know, because it actually has been harboring inside you for a long time. Like what was being done to you, spiritually, physically, it was all those things. psychological, all those things. And then once you notice it, that's hard. That's tough. Because it's done to you. So of course I can't change it. I don't know how to. All I know is to be me, but I just can't, and I don't understand. So I would always mention to myself, and I mentioned it one time to someone. I think they asked me something, and I said, I don't understand why I'm not happy. I want to be, right? Because maybe I'm in a new place now. Maybe I'm older. And I've been taken to a new place, a new home with a person that I wanted to go with. And they get this version, forgive me, they get this version. I mean, no one's perfect. They weren't perfect, but I know that they got in a version that I'm sure they weren't expecting. It's just a very quiet version. To myself, I'd like to be alone in the room. I stayed in my room. So the trauma, it kind of became the environment that I was in. I was comfortable. But I didn't really do it because I wanted to. I did it because I just wasn't myself. Like I was stuck in that. I was stuck in it. I was just stuck. So I was angry at myself, but I didn't take it out on people. But even still, people take it how they want to take it. So it just followed me. The judgment, the tough love, not having any mercy or understanding from people. But one thing remained, and that was me knowing. I knew something wasn't right. I just was a little older. I just was in a new place. I knew, because what had followed me was what they'd done to me, and it was already done. I was already scarred and wounded. So I was the one having to sit with that, lay with that, live with it, face it, see that reflection. Even if no one could understand, even if no one wanted to see, or even if I was still being misunderstood and judged harshly, I had to see all of it. I had to feel all of it. I had to know that I didn't choose to feel this way or to be this way or make people feel uncomfortable. I didn't want that, but I couldn't help it. There's probably names for these things, right? But I don't like using names because I just like to really describe it down to earth because I've actually lived it, right? I don't have to go into a textbook and say, oh, well, I was probably depressed or I was probably I'm going to depict it because I was like embodying it. So it's not, oh, I'm depressed. No, I'm not myself. I don't have anything to say. And I always got stuff to say. I'm not happy. I'm emotional. Like, just anything could set it off. Like, anything could set it off. Like, if I'm just thinking, right? Because again, I'm harboring all these things. I'm just a little older, right? This is from 10, 11, 12, 13. Now I'm 15, now I'm 16, now I'm 17. And I'm sure, I don't know. There's expectations. I don't know. But it's not easy if it's being done to you, right? The purpose. Well, we don't know the purpose yet. So what has been done to you? All that punishment and isolation, it does something to you. But it's different. It's like against your will. So I choose isolation now. It's easy for me now. As I say, I've trained, but before it wasn't looked at as training. It was straight up unwillful. It was punishment, right? Because I didn't know God's um hand in this necessarily. When I speak of it now, you hear God in all of it. Like, oh, he trained me, he this, he that, and then the scriptures come in because it's the same thing. But back then, boy, training what? Training who? All I see is them, and they're being unfair to me, right? They're punishing me. So I was in the darkness. I tasted it. I felt it. I was in that fire. He let his daughter in that fire. Now I was in there. I was in the midst of it. So there was no partiality, right? I didn't know anything but what I knew inside, and I didn't have a witness. I was my own witness. Because again, I didn't know God was in me. I knew he was in heaven. I knew Jesus Christ was up above, but that was it. I was my own witness. And I still am, like I still can be because I was there. My spirit witnessed those things. Even if I forget, even if people forget, I still know. So yeah, it being unwillful, that was the blow. That's what did it. And then you do it to a child when they're young. You do it for, because when you're a child, you don't know much. So that's the best time to program, quote unquote, teach, or whatever you're going to do. It starts in the beginning, and then it will help them as they become an adult. Whatever you want, whatever you're doing it for, the intent. So like with me, being in a room all my childhood and teenage years, well, I live alone. I live alone for 10 years. No problem. And that's where I get all my understanding from. I praise isolation. I say isolation is my friend, familiar friend. So there's things that I've mentioned to understand where they come from. So I see it all as a good thing now. Because now I know, now I see, now I understand. But yeah, back then it was rough. It was just rough. I literally stepped out on faith. That's all you have. You don't have the verses. I had just my strength to face it. All I had was my integrity. So I praise integrity all the time. I speak about integrity. Use your integrity. I don't just speak these things. I've walked. So I know. Since I didn't have a witness, I didn't have people, right? I didn't have people that were for me, people that wanted me, people that were choosing me. No, I had the opposite. Whereas when my actual aunt This was what age was I? I was 15 going on 16. I could have been 16 already. But yeah, my guardian that had me since 10 years old, she wanted to start living her life pretty much without the younger ones, like me and my brother. We were the last ones in the house. So my aunt already had taken in my sister maybe a year or two prior, because my sister was, we're 3 years apart, so yeah, she was of age. So she already taken my sister maybe a year before this. And so when it was time that my guardian wanted to do her, right? She asked my aunt if she would take me and my brother too. And my aunt said she would take my brother. It wasn't surprising. I wasn't hurt, you know. But I ended up going to Buffalo with people I didn't know, but were my family. We had the same last name. But I ended up going to Buffalo and going to a military school. That's where I went to Maritime. So I spent so I was 16, 17, and then I had my 18th birthday when I came back to Georgia. But so yeah, I don't know why I'm speaking so slow. Trying to be careful. So what am I saying? Why was I saying this? Sequence of events is, yeah, I wasn't chosen by these people ever. And yeah, I had to see that too. It wasn't surprising because when I was younger, I didn't have a relationship with my aunt like that, you know. It started in the beginning. So it started when I was very young, younger than 10. And yeah, I'll just leave that there. And so having to sit with that, it there was strength. And there was knowing, there was understanding. I wasn't surprised, I wasn't mad. It was just, I understand. Like I'm sure. I'm sure she would have chosen my brother and my sister because it's me, you know. I'm the one with the mouth. So I'm probably not gonna get along with her kids, or I'm gonna, I'm probably just not gonna fit in type thing. So that's probably the way she's looking at it, which is fine. But that was gonna follow me everywhere, you see. Me. I would have been my own demise in this world. Who would have knew? Who would have knew? Someone that would know probably would tell me. And probably did. Probably said things like your mouth is gonna get you in trouble. Things like that. I heard it from women and men. Well, not like actual adults at that time, but just both sides, both genders. you would have thought I was like fighting for my life or fighting these people actually. But no, it could have just been a simple joke. Like if someone was roasting and joking, I was gonna go head to head with them. And then that's like someone saying, yeah, you got too much mouth. But to me, I'm like, you were roasting me, so I'm roasting you. But I think because, again, in this world, in their ways, that particular cousin, a guy cousin, was looking at me like, but you're a girl, okay? I've heard this before when someone says, but you don't have to say something back. Or you don't have to always say something back. And that's true. That's true. But this is not pertaining to that. Like this is called for it. Like we're both, to me I took it as, now I can take it as an actual message that he was giving, not that I actually, that I actually shouldn't had said anything, because again it was like a roast. And so why would you tell me that, right? So it stuck with me because I think that was what it needed to do, because it signals so many different messages. This boy cousin was way older than me. If I was 14, 15, he was probably like well into his 20s. And I remember my other younger cousin, well, older than me, but younger than him, he was roasting. And so he was roasting me. So I roasted him and stuff. And then my older cousin says what he says. And now looking back, he was saying it because, again, I am a girl and that is a guy. So he looked at it like, yeah, you're going to have if you don't change your ways, if you don't change the way you speak or how you speak, you're going to have a hard time. Maybe with men, you know what I mean? Like there's things that he didn't need to explain, because what was there needing to be explained? He said it, like, you don't always have to respond. But when you're young, you're not knowing or thinking like that, right? You're just not thinking that way. You're just thinking, well, I'm going to stick up for myself, or I'm just going to speak up, or I'm going to roast this person back. I'm going to defend myself in a joking way. I wasn't taking it seriously. But that's the thing. They know that. You see what I mean? But to me, since I didn't have a witness or a friend, I had to overly explain myself. Like, well, I'm joking too. Well, he roasted me, so I'm roasting him. They weren't feeding me what needed to be fed. Instead, they just be like, look, you don't have to always say something. But I still couldn't understand that. Like, it didn't give me understanding. It didn't. But that's the backlash that I received. And again, this is when I'm young. Now that I'm older, I see it's in the world. It's the spirit. It's the spirit. But that's the thing. I've always been headstrong. I've always had a mouth. So that was never going to change. It was just going to get stronger. I was going to get more confident, more bold. But that's how the world changes you. Whether it's people that care for you and, know things about the world that you don't know yet. I don't know, because no one's feeding you it in that way. No one's saying, look, I care for you and no. So I'm just really making excuses for these people, because they probably didn't care. They were just seeing it for what it was. Like, look, I don't like your mouth, and I'm sure the world won't. No, but seriously, yeah, it's just a different, it was just a different way, of understanding back then, because all I thought was how I should think, and that is equal fairness. Like, if you're gonna speak up against me, and you're only like, you're my age or a couple years older, why can't I do the same? And then someone interferes and says, you have a smart mouth, but they don't say it to the other person, they don't say it to the guy, right? So I don't understand that at that time. Now I do. So that's what I mean. I didn't understand a lot of things. I didn't understand their ways, let's say that. And for the right reasons. And I give credit to myself, because nobody was ever going to give credit to me. I understood in a way where I should understand. I understood justice. I understood, comprehend what they were trying to say without saying it. Like, oh, you're a girl and that's a guy, you shouldn't be talking up against men. That's what they really wanted to say. But maybe they were young too, so they didn't know how to say it, but their spirit felt it. Like, why is she arguing with the boy cousins? Like, what, or why is she why is she going head to head? Like, why can she? Why, when all the other girls are just like laughing about it, or being like, saying whatever, be quiet. I'm over here like, well, oh my goodness. So I understand. That's what I mean. I come with understanding. But do they come with understanding? No. I understand their ways. I understand why and how they felt. I can see why they feel that way. Because that's the way they operate. That's the way they get ahead in life. That's the way they have power. You know, that's the way they've been having power, whether it been just with anyone, with women, all of it. Egotistical, all of that in the spirit. It's easy for me to see it now. Easy. It's like cake, like a cakewalk. I've been in this school for so long. I've been studying so long in the spirit, not even knowing it. Because I had to deal with this from the beginning. So when I read these verses, I say, Revelation, yeah, Father, yeah. Like, so many things. Thankful, and knowing that, like, this is the generation. Knowing that I am who I know I am. I know. And the verses say that. It says, you'll know. You'll know. Miraculous. Just miraculous. So when everyone is saying, oh, God is coming, and God is supposed to be coming in a generation, and Jesus Christ, there's a day and an hour, he's at the door, and and you're hearing God through these YouTube technology. You're hearing God through people, stories, testimonies. You're hearing God. I'm hearing God through me, my testimonies. I'm saying all that to say, he coming. He's coming. All those other things outside of me is a bonus. When I hear someone else telling their story, or when I come across like, just like even AI stuff, or like channels that are talking about chosen ones. I can't make this up, because I'm not the type to like listen to a lot of certain people. Like, I kind of just, because I don't have to. But when I'm listening to these things, I'm just like, God, I hear you. You're speaking through these people. You're using these sources, these resources, because it's like, it's so true. It's so spot on. Like meaning when he says the truth will be revealed, exactly what's happening. Even if my mouth was shut, I'm hearing it from places and things, and I'm like, whoa. So again, if there was none of those things, he had let it be known in me. And I know that's a verse, but my God, all I have to do is speak. Tell you about my life, who I was, who I am, and who I know I've always been. And see God and hear God and say, oh my God, there is a God. He is alive. He's in me. He loves me. He forgives me. Like, he's coming. Like, I'm for definite knowing that, oh, it ain't gonna be when I die. Like, it ain't gonna be like generations upon generation. No, 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 no. And you know how I know that? Because I'm in this generation, and he sent me, and I had a purpose, and I have delivered, and I testify about it, and I have been the embodiment of one of them. There's many, it's not just me, but I'm like a living being prophesying. That's why I say close the book. I don't need the book, but if any preacher in here, any biblical scholar got a degree, okay, well, you can hear my story. You can hear me, and you can see the verses. You can feel the verses. I can't make this up. This ain't scripted. That's how I know God is real. Not even that he's real, but that he's coming. He's coming for, like, at least I know he's coming for me. Like, I will be on that sleigh. I know. And that's why I'm so thankful, because just like the scriptures say, like, redemption has come to me. Like, he has come to me. He has seen me. Like, he has taken me out of those pits. Like, shout outs to songs, and I have to re up on that on songs, but I don't have, like, that's the thing, like, I know it was pits. I know I was in those dark places, like, stuck and, like, unwillful about it. But it trained me, it sculpted me, it made me better fit to, like, continue enduring this. Because there is a time, we don't know that time. There will be a certain age that I will be when he comes. I don't know that age. And knowing that I was going to be here for such a decent period of time, not going to say it's long, not going to say it's short, but knowing that I am 30, like, I've made it to in my 30s now, I'm 31, counting. That's fairly a decent time, in tribulation. So yeah, that's long enough. Because remember, age is nothing but a number if you ain't learning, if you ain't growing, if you're not evolving in the spirit. No. So who's to say, oh, you have to be older, you have to be 50? No. Hold on. Who says that you have to be a certain age? That's bogus, because what does age signify? Truly, if you're not on your purpose according to his will, Meaning, if he's not in your life and you're not actually like, truth be told, it's the things that are already known. It's evident that I'm a worker of not just Jesus Christ, I'm a worker of the Father, and Jesus himself and I and many others do the work of the Father, works in the Father's house, does his will. When all of us would like to just be reunited, have a party, do our thing, be free, be us, but there's a duty, there's a purpose, and we're in that purpose. So there's things that are already known that don't need to be said, but I know that it does need to be said because there are people that need to hear it, need to remember this. And so, yes, what does age have to do with it? Maybe age can come second, but what comes first is, daughter, has she learned her lesson? Has she realized? Has she come to this moment? Has she gotten through her test? Whatever, however long it takes, she's gonna get there. Depending on me, depending on him. And I don't know about everyone else, but like I like to say, I'm on a mountain. I'm on the mountain. There is many things that I don't know. There's many things I have not experienced in this world. But who's to say I have to? Right? Like, who's to say I have to experience true love? Maybe my true love is not in this world. Maybe my true love that wasn't my purpose on being here. You see that? Because even still, not even a woman, but just as a soul, I know I have loved ones in the spirit, in my Father's house. My Father himself is not here, right? Well, he's here, but he's everywhere. He's literally outside of this place. So that's not a worry. I'm always going to be loved, and there's always going to be someone for me. But why am I here? Why was I sent here in this world? Well, I know that. I know why. Just as why am I going through such the toughest battles? Well, because I know that. Because there's a reason. Because there's a purpose. And now reaching this mountain and filled with understanding, I pour it out into the world. Because you know why? The reason I came here was to give understanding, was to give all of it to the world. So I carried my cross. I drank the cup that was passed to me. I endured it. I sacrificed to only pour what it's produced, and it's produced oil. And what is the oil? Light. And what is the light? You know what the light is. It's what you're receiving, what you feel in your soul. We win souls. We're not worried about the flesh. We talk to the soul. We awaken the soul. Giving the true mercy, understanding, hope, belief, godly belief, godly understandings, godly insight. Giving you a true version of warriors, not a storybook, not a movie. Pouring the truth out. That's what we give to the world. And I can go on and on and on about what has the world given us. But it's not about what the world should or would give us. No. Because we didn't come here to be given anything from the world. But I want you to see your people, your ways, how you've tried to take from us when we just tried to give. And even when you've taken, we still have given. So I know that person in that seat is angry at us rising. They're angry, you see, because we rise. Jesus has risen. And I'll leave it there.